Of course, Williams had that terrible season last year, and what do you guys think about the car? Of course, changing to the Mercedes engine. That's looking like a good decision so far.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it's looking like they lucked out big time on that one. Mercedes is definitely looking like the strongest of all the engine providers. So yeah, I think they're extremely happy with Mercedes, especially after seeing all the struggles of the Renault teams. The car that was there in Jerez, it was just kind of painted a matte blue, kind of navy blue kind of color. Really wasn't all that interesting, but I heard they're going to be going back to the old colors, the Martini Williams colors for the first race.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard that too. I
that's
think I was
that's the
on
rumor that
Tech Coverage
Martini is
Facebook, I
coming
think I heard
back.
that. Yeah, it'd be a pretty interesting one to do because yeah, I felt relative to their budget, I felt similar to them as I did Marussia, just sort of like it's a pretty average car, nothing particularly special on it, and it's just sort of, you know, again they've just gone for just solid car rather than anything special. I don't think you need big innovations, but you do need, you know, some error bits. But again, I'm sure there'll be updates in the next sort of coming weeks.
I
And
suppose
again,
it probably looks pretty plain because that is just their testing livery.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that it kind of prevents any specific aero parts from jumping out at you when it's all just painted one flat color like that. It just kind of makes it look more like a GP2 or GP3 car rather than an F1
Oh,
car.
fair point, I guess. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, you know, the times don't matter, but there was only three people the entire week that were able to get down into the 123s, and one of those three people was Felipe Massa in the Williams with a 123.7. You know, it's certainly not a bad sign to see that. I don't think we could go so far to say as it's a good sign, but I think it's safe to say that it's not a bad sign. So hopefully they'll be able to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and get some solid results for 2014.
Yeah, times really don't matter. I remember, was it, I think either pre-season testing last year or year before, I think Caterham got like a headline time of like second or third, and everyone was like, oh, they could be quick this year, and then no,
McLaren too.
the previous year.
McLaren
So
too. They were fastest on day one in 2013, and then you know it turned out they had a dog of a car. So it really doesn't mean anything. But as I said, it's not a bad sign. I mean, you know, if they were even getting into that range. So hopefully this is a good. I mean, I don't see how the season could be worse than last year though. And Williams is a heritage team, so I'm sure a lot of people in the UK would really like to see them improve.
yeah, I want to see them do better, but I don't know. They've kind of just they need to completely change their team because they've proven the last couple of years they just you know they've got not a reasonable budget. They've got a low budget. They're not, you know, they're not big, but they've got probably a bigger budget than say Sauber,
Hmm.
probably who else? Obviously Caterham and Marussia.
Force India, I think.
I don't know. I think Force India have had an improved budget, haven't they? Because of VJ Malley, who's got big bucks, obviously.
And also
overseas,
the Claro sponsorship now from Sergio.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think Williams must have a reasonable budget. Kind of probably a very average budget, like right bang in the middle, I would imagine.
I
But,
mean, they get
yeah,
money
really
every
are
year.
underperforming.
They get money every year from the FIA, I'm pretty sure, just because of being Williams. They're kind
Yeah,
of like
they do.
Ferrari in that respect. Just because they've been around for so long, they're guaranteed money every year.
Yeah, they do. Just think about it as well. Of course, they had what's it called? Gonzalo. It's Pasta Maldonado. That's the one. The Pasta Maldonado funding last year and the few years before that, which I think is something stupid like 10 million or more per year.
And this year too, because remember he
Yeah.
paid to leave that team.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
there we go. So they've
somewhere
had quite a
around
bit of money.
30 million per year.
That's mental. That is. I
Which
mean,
is
I don't like paid
probably
drivers,
like-
but what team can turn that down? Even like the top teams would have to look at that twice, because that's ridiculous. I mean, Lotus clearly have, but you know that's just I don't know. That's just mental. 30 million for a driver. Ridiculous. Surely that's like headline sponsors for some of the teams, not the top teams, but you know, from say Force India down. Surely like a I can't remember what it's called, the head sponsor person. Surely that's about what they pay. Maybe even they may even pay less than that. It's ridiculous.
I
Yeah,
think
like-
Vodafone's like the contract was I think 80 million per year. So
Jesus.
Holy cow. Okay, so maybe a little bit less than that, but well,
Well,
I mean
that's for McLaren. You know, McLaren are
Exactly,
going to
yeah.
require a lot. You know, say Force India, they're not going to require half as much as that. So it probably would be about the same as a
Yeah.
lead, you know, sponsorship for Force India.
yeah, and they only got a rear wing on the Williams. They just got the PDVSA on the rear wing. Now with the lineup, first of all, I'd like to remind everyone that I totally predicted Felipe Massa would be going to Williams. Called that
up and all that.
Called that so long ago. I'm awesome. And I heard Rob Smedley. I hear Rob Smedley is going to be. I think it was in one of Ted Kravitz's notebooks. They said that Smedley is in fact going to be joining Felipe Massa at Ferrari. He's just dealing with that period where he has to wait in between teams. Gardening leave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
So
actually, I think he isn't going to be his Felipe Massa's engineer. He's going to be like the head engineer.
Right.
Instead
Yeah.
of being a race engineer.
Yeah, I would expect at a team like Williams, he would be a little bit higher ranked than he was at Ferrari.
Felipe Massa is definitely a good signing for Williams, though. I think they absolutely did the right thing there, especially as he's been there before, obviously. But I think he's perhaps not good enough for Ferrari. But I mean, who rates Alonso? How would you rate Alonso and Raikkonen? Right up there with the best.
Yep.
So I mean, anyone up against them is going to look pretty average. So, but I think he's still a solid driver. But yeah, I think team like Williams, I reckon he's a really good asset, definitely.
Absolutely.
He looks good in their kit as well.
Yeah. I hope he turns out being very happy with his decision of joining Williams.
I can't believe he was at Ferrari for 8 years. I mean, 8 years.
I know.
That's, for one team, that's so long. And a team like Ferrari, that's amazing. I know he was really good up until he had his crash, but even to keep him after that for quite a few years, a team like Ferrari, they definitely gave him enough chances. Fair play to Ferrari for keeping him on for so long and having faith in him.
Well, also, I mean, he was a real team player as well. I mean, he recognized, that he was not Fernando Alonso, and he needed to do other things for the team in order to kind of keep them happy, and he was absolutely willing to do those things. I mean, there's very few people that would intentionally take a 5-place grid penalty at a race just to improve their teammates' grid position.
I'm not sure we had a lot of choice in that, though, to be fair, but he didn't look very happy about it.
Yeah, but Williams did fourth most of the whole grid in laps, 175 laps. So and I think they did running on all 4 days as well.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's
so it seems to have a pretty solid car in terms of reliability. Like I said, good choice with the Mercedes engine.
And what about Bottas? Especially, I want to hear from the Finn. You think Bottas is going to really shine this year?
Well, I certainly hope so, because of course we saw those couple of times in Montreal and in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Those kinds of flashes of him, his true pace. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if the car performs. Then I think he's gonna be quick.
You say that, but say like Massa last year, and since he's had his crash, you could say the same thing at Renault. He showed his true pace this weekend because he's on the podium or because he's qualified, ahead of Alonso, but it just never materialised. It's not all about having true pace. It's about having consistency, which I know he had a bit of a bad car, but Bottas didn't have last year. So I'm for me just a pretty average driver. I don't think he's anything particularly special. He's good, but not not anything amazing. I think if he has a similar season to last season as this season, I don't think we'll see him in 2015. Not at Williams, at least.
I think he's better than we've seen, or better than his results have shown anyway. Certainly, I think the Williams last year was pretty much undrivable, and he's already proven that he's better than Pastor Maldonado for sure. Although most people on the grid probably are, but I think if they give him the right car, I think he could be good. He certainly shows maturity on track. He's not like a Romain Grosjean or Pastor Maldonado type driver. That takes unnecessary risks. So I have high hopes anyway.
Yeah, solid, but for me, not overly impressive. He's not. I think Jules Bianchi's probably got more potential than him for now, at least. But yeah, we'll see this year. It's good that Williams have given him another chance. Some teams would have just chucked him out straight away after the first year, which is of course incredibly harsh on a rookie. So yeah, good to see him get a second chance anyway.